I want to thank Queen Sheba, Hank Stewart, and Winter Jones for sharing the power of poetry and how we can all tap in. Even if you've never written a poem, I hope you'll be inspired to write something today. And thanks for being the reason why someone smiles today.
On your Thursday afternoon, we're starting with breaking news in Sandy Springs, where we know the GBI, Georgia Bureau of Investigation, has been called in to investigate a shooting involving a Sandy Springs police officer. Let's look at some live pictures from the scene there in Sandy Springs. You can see police cars lining the road there, and where this is happening is the area of Dunwoody Place and Roswell Road. Sandy Springs police tell us that earlier this morning, December 4th, just after 10:30 a.m., Sandy Springs police officers rushed to the area of Roswell Road and Dunwoody Place. They got a call about an assault, and after they arrived on scene, officers found a weapon, or rather a possible suspect. And while speaking to that possible suspect, they say that possible suspect pulled a weapon on the officers. We know that the person that they were speaking to, that suspect, was shot and rushed to a local hospital. Sandy Springs police detectives were notified about the situation and came over to take over the investigation. This incident was also captured on Sandy Springs police officers' body-worn cameras. So as is standard with these investigations, the GBI is called in to examine the use of force. But as you can see, live pictures right here in Sandy Springs, that entire road is closed. We see multiple police cars and yellow crime scene tape blocking it off completely. So if Dunwoody Place and Roswell Road is a part of your commute this Thursday afternoon, you're going to want to avoid this area. You can see detectives there in the back looking at evidence. I see about 3 of them wearing their black jackets, taking a look at pieces on the ground and walking around. We know that police are asking the public to stay clear of this area. Kevin Stewart is there with photographer Stephen Herron. They are going to bring us more from this scene as our live hours continue here at 3 o'clock. But I want to let you listen in, because right now we know that Sergeant Leon Milholland of the Sandy Springs Police Department held a news conference to update us on what's happened. So let's listen.
This is the latest briefing. The GBI have shown up, and they're going to take over the investigation involving the officer-involved shooting. The Sandy Springs detectives will continue to work the original assault call that came out.
Any more details about the assault call?
No other details at this time. It's still an ongoing investigation.
The victim we know is female.
Yes. In the original assault call, the victim was a female and the offender was a male.
Obviously, you know, during ongoing investigations, we don't really know how long something like this could take. In your opinion, how long do you think the GBI and all you guys, how long do you guys think you'll remain here on scene?
I can't answer that, give you a specific answer, but I will say we are here to cooperate in all the investigation, and we're here to support the GBI and whatever they need.
Any update on the suspect's condition?
No, the last update we got was the suspect was still in critical condition.
What hospital?
Not sure. It's a local hospital.
Is it possible for you to give us a recap, because some people may have not been here before and listening
Absolutely.
for the first time?
So this morning, shortly after 10:30 a.m., Sandy Springs police were dispatched to the area of Roswell Road and Dunwoody Place in reference to an assault call. Officers arrived on scene. They made contact with the possible offender. While interviewing the offender, the individual pulled a weapon on the officers, and an officer shot the offender.
Was this a domestic violence situation between was it a couple?
Not sure the relationship between the original offender and the original victim. Not sure what the relationship was.
Do we think they might have known each other?
Not sure. That investigation is still ongoing by the Sandy Springs police detectives.
She was the one that called 911?
Yes.
I think this ties into what he asked just a moment ago, but Do you know how long this portion of road will be blocked off?
Not sure. As long as needed to conduct a thorough investigation.
I'm assuming you guys are probably trying to pull surveillance cameras from, Bank of America and all the nearby, the gas station right across the street. I'm assuming that's what you guys are currently trying to.
Absolutely. The cameras will be used from businesses, from the traffic management office, with the city, from whatever assets are out there. We'll use all evidence available to be able to conduct a thorough investigation.
Can you just talk a little bit about the importance of having those resources like cameras at businesses and on the roads, the importance of that to an investigation in general?
Absolutely. Well, in the Metro Atlanta area, the traffic is sometimes can be horrible, and that's the traffic cameras can be used to help monitor traffic, to help keep traffic flowing, to help law enforcement to investigate accidents and so forth. But also, in an unfortunate incident like this, the cameras can be used to pull up evidence to see exactly what happened. That's the world we live in, and thankfully we have the resources, the cameras, and the technology to allow us to do that.
Was the woman injured in the during the assault?
I'm not sure. It's still an ongoing investigation.
And I'm assuming you guys have already recouped the weapon from the individual?
Yeah, it's still an ongoing investigation. I can assure the public there's no danger to the public. The issue has been handled, and the investigation is ongoing.
What type of charges? Obviously, it's a very early investigation. But what current charges do you know of, if any, will be allocated in this situation?
Well, like the public, I've got questions too, and unfortunately, I can't speculate on charges or the investigation. But it is ongoing, and if there are any charges, there will be coming down the line, if there are any at all.
So the woman wasn't taken to the hospital or anything like that?
I'm not sure. It's still an ongoing investigation. I'm not sure the original victim, the female, I'm not sure of possible injuries. I'm not sure if she was transported to a hospital. I'm not sure. It's still an ongoing investigation as far as that is concerned.
So as you can hear, this is an ongoing investigation. Sandy Springs Police still looking at that original assault call that they were called out to investigate. But at this time, the GBI is going to look into the officer-involved shooting aspect of this, because we know the suspect in this situation was shot. You can see investigators live outside right now still looking at evidence there along the tree line. So we'll continue to keep you updated on this breaking story. But in the meantime, I want to keep you updated on something else that's unfolding today, and that is the Atlanta Airport terror suspect has appeared in court for a pretrial hearing. Billy Joe Cagle, our Deidre Dukes, was there to keep us updated on the situation. And Deidre, I understand he wasn't in the courtroom today, but a lot of different things were discussed.
Because this was a pre-trial conference, meaning that the judge heard today a series of motions from the prosecution and defense, including motions from both the prosecution and the defense requesting a mental evaluation for Cagle. Now, authorities say Cagle had an AR-15 style rifle and 27 rounds of ammunition in his possession when he was arrested in October at Hartsfield-Jackson. The Bartow County man had reportedly told a relative he planned to shoot up the airport. Federal prosecutor Paul Jones and defense attorney Conrad Ziegler agreed an evaluation is necessary, but they disagreed on whether Cagle should be released on bond to complete it at an inpatient facility. His defense team had suggested that they were going to ask for that. Now, the court did decide that the evaluation will take place at a federal detention facility, possibly where Cagle is currently being held. So he does right now remain held without bond. His defense team says the 49-year-old has a history of mental health issues, and I asked his attorneys how Cagle is holding up behind bars.
We certainly anticipate what the results of the mental health evaluation is going to be, and based on what we believe those results are going to be, we will be, after that, moving for bond to get him released into an inpatient facility and not just be released out, to the general public. So we need to place it safe for him and for the public.
And the Bartow County man has remained behind bars since his arrest, but we were told by his attorneys that they do plan to ask for bond to see that he is released from bond, if at all, released on bond, if at all possible, following that mental evaluation. Here's what they had to say.
We don't want to talk in depth about any person's mental health status, as you can understand. There's certain stigmas that go along with that. But I can tell you it's been a pleasure working with him, and he's been more than cooperative.
So, Ariel, the judge did give both sides 45 days to complete this mental evaluation, and they're due back in court on March 2nd for a pre-trial hearing. So that's the latest there. We continue to follow this developing story, and of course we will have an update for our viewers on Fox 5 News starting at 4 o'clock tonight. Ariel.
Thank you, Deidre. You know, I think this is just going to be a really interesting case, especially considering the fact that he did not actually commit this crime, and investigators were able to prevent him before they suspected he would. So it's going to be interesting to see how the evidence plays out in that, and especially since mental health is such a big part of this investigation, how prosecutors bring their evidence to the table. I have no doubt you'll keep us updated.
That's right, especially since we're looking at a situation where a family member reportedly was FaceTime by him. He told them that he was going to rat-a-tat-tat the airport, and they did, in fact, then go to the Cartersville Police Department, notify them what was going on. Cartersville PD then calling APD to alert them to what was going on, and of course APD locating the individual, Mr. Cagle, there at the airport, finding that weapon and the ammunition outside in a car that was parked right there at the curb. And so as far as how they tie all this together, it will be interesting to see how this all plays out in coming months as this winds its way through the courts.
Amen, Deidre. Well, thank you so much for keeping us updated and that backstory. We appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and bring you guys back in here to studio because we have Eric Perry standing by with us to give us an update on a story he has been working on. And Eric, I understand that some residents of a condo complex here in Atlanta are really frustrated with what they say is disrepair, mold. I mean, I wouldn't want to live under those conditions, and it sounds like they don't either.
And a lot of them are not, and here's why they're so frustrated. They're paying mortgage here, and they're not able to live here as well. Take a look at this. Is some of the video. My photographer that shot it said, you know, what you see here is not nearly as bad as it is. The camera can't just capture just what it's like once you're there. So this is near the Peter Street area, near downtown on Walker Street, built back in 2007. In fact, I talked with one of the residents. She was one of the first people to move into this, and she says that it really has been what started off as a dream is now a nightmare because just cracks, black molding, here water running, and they're pointing toward just a not what they're saying a thorough job by the construction work there. They're saying that if they would have taken action when it happened, made those changes, then, you know, they would have had a different outcome now. Well, now 20 of the 42 units have filed a lawsuit together over the mold and other issues there. We talked with the lawyer and several of those residents as well. They're pointing the blame to the HOA, which really governs this. That is the board. They also have a property management company, two of them. One is called Beacon. That is the one that is over it right now. There was another one called Access Management Group. They were over it for a couple of years before this. But take a listen to first the attorney, and then we'll listen to two residents as well.
What we believe to be misuse of association funds and a mismanagement of the property that's led to roughly $12.6 million in damage to the association right now. The board members were prioritizing their own interests, prioritizing their own properties, and the complaints that would come in from other members were either ignored or patchwork.
I've dealt with black mold, high mold counts in my units. I've dealt with walls being taken down, seeing water running behind my walls, water stains on many of the ceilings.
We've made an investment. We still pay a mortgage on an empty unit. We're having to live someplace else where there's another mortgage, and we want our unit fixed so that we can move back home.
last woman that you heard from, she has not been able to live there for 3 years. I feel really bad for her because she married and her husband had this place. So she really didn't have a say. This was supposed to be their marital home, you know, so now they're not able to. The woman before that is the one who originally moved in 2007, back when she says it was just a blank lot.
Wow.
So she was sold on a dream there. She thought it was going to be beautiful, and so far it's not. I did reach out to both of those companies. We haven't heard back just yet, but of course, I will of course let you know as well. But this is really just a huge lawsuit that they filed in Fulton County. They want a jury trial. They want to go before a jury, and the ultimate plan is they want to be able to have a judgment. There's insurance companies, and they want the insurance to pay.
Understandable. Well, and you know, when you see these images, I can understand why they would want a jury trial. Also, just the idea of, you know, we hear all the time about apartment tenants being frustrated, renters being frustrated with the place they live. That's one thing. But to own a place that you cannot live in, that you are paying a mortgage on, and it is deeded to you, that I can't imagine how frustrating that is.
Interesting thing here is they really want to get back to this. It's a great area. It's walkable.
Where is this?
This is near Peter Street, the Castleberry Hills, and
it looked really
Walker
cute.
Street.
Yeah.
Walter Street, excuse me. But they want to get back to it because they actually love the area. They like they say that there's great bones there.
Yeah.
They are just really frustrated right now in this economy, paying 2 different mortgages on top of life.
Whew.
It's really a lot.
Amen. Well, Eric, thanks so much for bringing this story to our attention, joining the conversation. We really appreciate it. You guys, I want to transition and get a look of some surveillance video of a suspect that was just arrested today. You can see it right here on your screen. So we know that the FBI has arrested a man that they believe placed pipe bombs in Washington, D.C. on the eve of the January 6th riots at the United States Capitol. Now, here's the thing. This surveillance video previously released by the FBI shows a person skulking around the Capitol the night before former President Joe Biden's election victory was to be certified by Congress. The bombs were put outside the Democratic and Republican headquarters. We saw that the FBI finally got a break in the case after this nearly 5-year manhunt with this arrest. But while no one was hurt, officials do believe the devices could have been deadly had they not caught them in time. Fox News is identifying the suspect as Brian Cole and said he was living in Virginia at the time of his arrest. So we'll continue to keep you updated on this story. We know the FBI recently held a news conference about this, and you can find the latest here in the Fox Local app as we continue to keep you updated. Another big story I want to let you know about, because this affects a lot of your wallets, is the time is running out on healthcare subsidies and funding them. So on Capitol Hill right now, we know that lawmakers are gridlocked on how to solve this issue, but you and millions of other Americans could get a major dose of sticker shock when you see your 2026 health insurance premiums. We're taking a live look at the Capitol Hill right now. Obamacare subsidies are set to expire, and lawmakers, if they don't extend these subsidies, are running out of time to come up with an alternative plan. The holiday recess is just around the corner, and Democrats want to renew these subsidies. They even shut down the government trying to force Republicans to do this. While ultimately they fell short of that goal, we do know that they got a promise from Republicans to get a vote on the health care issue at a later date, before the year's end, technically. The proposal that both parties plan to put forward is a bit unclear. At this point, GOP ideas include giving money directly to the American consumer to let them choose their health insurance, instead of giving that money to health insurance companies, and also ending taxes on health care. That's something Republicans want to do. Democrats want to reverse cuts to federal health care programs, so they just want to lower those costs. Bipartisan talks seem to have stalled on this issue on Capitol Hill, and right now it's looking likely that Affordable Care Act subsidies could expire without a new plan in place. So, of course, we're going to keep you updated on that. But in the meantime, big topic of discussion here, you guys. The FIFA World Cup, it is starting next year, as you know, here in 2026. A huge deal right here in Atlanta and across the nation. And Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is kicking off the World Cup Summit for 2026. He held a news conference today talking a little bit about some of the things that are going to go into place with this. Big thing is making sure that people can get safely to and from the games. We know that 11 cities are hosting this 2026 FIFA World Cup, including Atlanta, Boston, Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, Los Angeles, Miami, New York, New Jersey, Philadelphia, San Francisco Bay Area, and Seattle. So really going to captivate the entire country, and of course Canada and Mexico. This kicks off next year, June 11th. So let's listen to a little bit about what Secretary Duffy had to say.
Welcome to DOT. Thank you all for coming. Listen, we are excited. Tomorrow is going to be a great day at the Kennedy Center. President Trump is going to be there. Thousands of people are going to be in attendance. But around the world, 1 billion people are going to tune in to watch the draw at the Kennedy Center. So we're excited that we're kicking the event off today here at DOT. We're excited about FIFA. The president is excited about FIFA, because it's a great sporting event, but it's going to come to America on our 250th anniversary. And again, in America, we love sports. We love to celebrate our birthdays. So to combine those two things together is going to be absolutely fantastic. On top of that, at the White House, we're going to have the first ever UFC fight as well. So it's going to be a great celebration of America's 250th birthday. As we look to these games, right, we're going to have 6
A little bit about the
million
excitement
people
from Secretary Sean Duffy as he talks about the World Cup. You're taking a look at the news conference he held a little bit this morning, just a few hours ago. We're going to keep you updated on this, but in the meantime, I want to get to some significant updates we're seeing from issues unfolding nationally. And one of the things that we're taking a look at is that the White House may extend an immigration travel ban. So as of right now, we know that effective immediately, all immigration processing, including green card and U.S. citizenship applications, even ceremonies for those who've already passed the citizenship test, are on pause for people coming from 19 deemed high-risk countries. These countries are already subject to a travel ban, and they do include Afghanistan, Somalia, Cuba, Venezuela, and others. Now, it's the latest move in the White House's immigration crackdown, and it comes after a deadly shooting of 2 National Guards members just blocks from the White House, as you take a live look at our nation's capital. Now, we know that Secretary of State Marco Rubio says the big concern is that people who have been living in the United States have become radicalized, and they want to make sure people are assimilating into United States culture, something that the Secretary of State has said and the president has reiterated as well. There are also reports the White House is planning to extend that travel ban from 19 countries to at least 30 countries. So we'll definitely keep you updated as that unfolds. But in the meantime, I want to let you know about a report that was just released, and this deals with Secretary of War Pete Hegseth and that scandal involving a Signal chat being leaked because a journalist was put in that group chat. We're going to get into this because the Pentagon chief is facing renewed calls to resign as a result of this report. It comes after a months-long investigation. A new watchdog report criticized his role in this leaked chat. The Pentagon Inspector General says that Hegseth used this group chat and, quote, could have resulted in failed U.S. mission objectives and potential harm to U.S. pilots, end quote. It talks about how Hegseth laid out specific mission details in the chat with other top cabinet officials ahead of a strike against Houthi rebels in Yemen. You may remember a journalist from The Atlantic was accidentally put into that Signal group chat as well. Hegseth has maintained he used his power to declassify this information before sending it out. A Pentagon spokesperson said that the Inspector General's report is basically a moot point because the issue's resolved. But Democrats in Congress aren't convinced. They say that they don't really know if the legal principle works for Hegseth to say he declassified the material as a way to save face, something that Democrats have said they have concerns with. This report on the Signal chat comes as Congress is investigating deadly strikes on alleged terrorists in the Caribbean and the reported killing of 2 survivors clinging to wreckage after a boat strike near Venezuela. Secretary Hegseth says he did not witness the follow-up strike, but says the admiral in charge made the right call to strike the survivors in the water. President Trump says he'd release video of the second strike if it exists, and he stands by that boat strike. So obviously a situation that we're going to keep tabs on here at Fox 5, and you're going to get updates right here in the Fox Local app if you hear of anything. I'm also keeping an eye on your YouTube chat. If you guys have any questions about stories that we've been covering, let me know and I'll jump in and see if I can answer them. But coming up next, we're going to be checking in on your weather forecast. It is chilly outside, a bit overcast, and we're going to see where the temperatures are headed when we come back. Well, welcome back. I'm Ariel Onstadt, and it is chilly outside, but overnight rain is moving in, and we want to know how that may affect our temperatures. Let's get to meteorologist Jonathan Stacy for an update.
A chilly rain is coming to take over North Georgia and the Atlanta metro area, and it all starts today. We'll continue through the remainder of the week. Meanwhile, up to the north, they're dealing with snow, but no wintry weather for us. Just a wet experience here as the rain chances will skyrocket as the sun goes down. You haven't seen much sunshine today. You shouldn't expect to see any for the next couple of days. Rain will rule, and in between the rain showers will be some thick and low-hanging clouds. A softening of the showers in terms of coverage as we get into the second half of the day Friday. So there will be some drier periods, but at no point in time are you completely out of the woods in terms of the chance for rain. We'll carry those rain chances over into the weekend where we're expecting scattered showers, potentially some widespread activity as we go throughout the day Saturday, and then by Sunday I think most of us are just participating in what will be more of an isolated event. Rain chances still in the forecast even until Monday next week. So let's work through the timing here. It's now 6 o'clock Thursday evening. Your evening commute should be okay. There will be some splotches here and or there, but by and large, dry conditions and cloudy conditions will persist. In terms of temperatures, they've been in the 40s all day long, and that's where they're going to stay. 47 degrees. Temperatures will back off a bit, maybe dropping down into the high 30s, especially in our northern zones, but by and large, they stay steady right on through the overnight hours, and big time rain moves in. There will be some moderate to heavy pockets moving through overnight. By the time you wake Friday morning, morning, there will be ongoing showers, a shield of moisture mainly to the south of the Atlanta metro area, with some isolated showers up across the foothills and the mountains. As we get into the lunch period, you can see here the clouds are still in place, but rain, well, it's kind of hard to find. Once again, there's some splotches here or there, mainly for the south side, as that's the general storm track that these storms will take over the next couple of days. These are fairly benign storms. We're not looking at anything severe, but there could be some areas of isolated flooding, especially if one of these slow down and they pump out a decent amount of rain over a short period of time. As we head to bed Friday night going into Saturday morning, another lobe of moisture, it's nocturnal rain, folks, moves through the area, and it stays mainly tucked to the south and to the east of I-85. Temperatures overall over the next 72-hour period, they don't move at all. The train continues right on through the day Saturday into Saturday afternoon. If you're up across northwest Georgia, your chance for rain is lower. Therefore, your rainfall expectations are only coming in at somewhere less than a quarter of an inch. That's from Rome to Canton to Ellijay, even up into Blairsville. However, if you're to the south and to the east of the city, you could get up to an inch of rainfall, maybe some isolated pockets getting 1 to 2 inches, but now the models are backing off a bit, becoming a bit more conservative, saying that you all will be somewhere in excess of a ½ inch, but likely not exceeding an inch of rainfall by the time we get to Sunday midday. Here's a look at your Fox 5 Storm Team 7-day forecast here. There is a lot to see, but nothing to get excited about. Temperatures staking out in the 40s through the remainder of today, the overnight hours, into tomorrow, into Saturday and Sunday. We have the hope of getting beyond the 50-degree mark Monday, but then a front moves through. The temperatures take another stumble and tumble. We're back into the 30s and 40s for Tuesday, but it looks like it will be with some much needed and long-awaited sunshine.
Well, thanks, Jonathan. It looks like a good forecast if we can make the most of the sun. But in the meantime, you guys, I do want to move on because Doug Evans is standing by with a really heartwarming story, and it involves some graduates finding a new lease on life. And they're graduates you wouldn't expect, Doug. They're coming from Fayette County's drug court. And I understand this is really a unique opportunity for those who've been charged with drunk driving to figure out a new way to get a lease on life, a new lease on life, if you will.
Hi, good afternoon, Ariel. You know what I love about this story is on TV, on Fox 5 and every news channel, we show you mugshots of people who have committed crimes, and then we move on to another story, right? This gives us an opportunity to see how some of those people are putting their lives back together after they've had a brush with the law. In this case, could be drugs, could be DUI. They were pulled over for impaired driving. Given the option of going to jail, some of them choose this drug DUI court, and they're finding it very successful. Let me show you some video of last night's graduation, and I got to thank State Court Judge Jason Thompson for inviting us to this. It was really a moving experience, not just for me, but for everybody that was there and witnesses. 3 graduates last night, just out of a sense of obligation to these people who are putting their lives back together. We're not showing their faces except for one of them that agreed to tell their story. And these are people that, as I said, have had DUIs. Some of them have had multiple DUIs. They go through this program. It's intensive. It's a lot of work. And they have intensive supervision, mandatory drug testing. They have to go through rehab and recovery. They've got to be where they're supposed to be, when they're supposed to be there. They must still pay their fines and their community service obligations to the court. The only thing they're avoiding is jail, but they're doing it with tools to help them make their lives better in the end. And so these are 3 people who graduated last night, and the 22nd graduation since they've started this court back in 2017. 117 people have graduated so far. Let me tell you about the what taxpayers get out of this. They estimate that it costs about $98 a day to incarcerate someone in the Fayette County Jail. You take that 117 participants, and you extrapolate that into the cost and not housing them in the county jail. They say since 2017, it's $4 million that they have not spent.
Sounds like drug court's a good idea.
Instead, you have people. Yeah, you've got people, Ariel, that are putting their lives back together. Let's hear from Judge Thompson now about some of the history of this.
We started the program in 2017 as our DUI drug court because we didn't have any other tools in our toolbox other than jail. But we wanted to find a way to treat cases differently where the root issue was a substance use disorder or mental health issue. So we started the DUI drug court. And then in 2019, we started the Veterans Treatment Court, same premise, but we work exclusively with members of the military. And what we do for the Veterans Treatment Court, we bring in actually retired service members, and they go through the program with our participants, a battle buddy, if you will. And we match up Marine with Marine, Army with Army, Navy with Navy. But really, this is a court of second chances. We want people who are good people but have made bad choices to be productive members of society. And that's the whole purpose of our accountability courts.
You know, you reduce some of their sentences, you give them some of their fines back, but they're walking out of here with a lot more than that. I mean, am I wrong?
Yeah. We want them to leave here with purpose, with confidence, and all the tools they need to be successful. And what I love here is the community embraces them. You had 4 of our mayors here standing up and applauding them and telling them how well they did, how proud. We had law enforcement officers here that used to arrest them that are now telling them, we are so proud of you and we're here to support you. So we want them to leave here knowing that they can do whatever they set their mind to. And now they have the tools to be successful in whatever way they want to. And so they're leaving here today starting their own business. They're reuniting with their family. So many great success stories.
Doug, this is wonderful.
So, Ariel, real quickly, yeah, let me tell you about this one guy, Ariel, that I met last night. His name is Alex Nugent, and he agreed to tell his story to Fox 5. We'll have that on tonight at 5 and 6 on Fox 5, and you'll get to see him and hear his story. But second DUI, this guy, and he goes into this program. Obviously, whatever happened, the first DUI didn't work for him. Hopeful that this program will. He does have a great job now. He's doing very well in it. He's taking classes. People stood up and spoke on his behalf, including his mother and father. And, you know, his mother said to everybody that was there tonight, and there were about, 200 people there last night for this graduation. She thanked them for giving her son back. I don't think she said that after his first incarceration, after his first brush with the law.
Yeah.
Because, there wasn't a lot of hope for Alex. And now there's a great deal of hope for him.
Doug, this is wonderful. Great heartwarming story. And like you said, we often tell the bad things in news, so it's wonderful to take a minute to highlight someone who's transforming their life, really working to create the life they want. We look forward to watching your story right here on Fox Local, Fox 5, coming up later this evening. So Doug, thank you so much for bringing this story to our attention. Wishing them all the best of luck. Okay, guys, we're going to move on because coming up, I have to tell you about a really cool story. We're going to be checking in with the owner of a local Ford dealership who's bringing car service to your doorstep, maybe not in a way you would expect, and that's coming up next. Welcome back. I'm Ariel Onstott, and it's great to see you here streaming along with us on your Thursday afternoon. A local Ford dealership in Winder, Georgia is hosting these mobile parties to connect with the community, and they're doing this with neighborhoods, and they're bringing car service to your doorstep. I want to bring in Brad Akins of Akins Ford. Brad, great to see you. Tell me a little bit about these mobile parties and how you guys got started.
Well, thanks for having us here today. This started with just a couple in the neighborhood, and as we brought about mobile service a few years ago, it's just grown into something besides just being a destination. We found this retirement community that we started doing services in, and it's grown into a cookout time of 2 to 3 times a year of 40 to 50 of the residents signing up at Lake Hartwell, and it's just grown into a cookout, band, everything. We'll send about 10 mobile vans along with our employees and just make a day of fun and festivities out of it. And that's something that we had never really thought about, when we started mobile service with many other dealers out there. And it just kind of exploded into something that we look forward to. We've had the solar plunge there in the past. I did not participate in that. I donated where I didn't have to get into cold water. But that's something we just found, to put fun into getting your car service, because that's not one of the things that you really look at that, hey, it's fun to do. Yeah. And it was something that evolved that we've just had a blast with, and are trying to do that in other communities to do that and participate in some of their fun and offer service at the same time.
So I understand you'll service roughly 25 to 40 cars on the spot while the residents are hosting barbecue parties, family fun. You might even raise money for local charities. So it's like you join in the fun that's already ongoing. Tell me, if I am someone who wants to have you guys come out, maybe I'm co-hosting a neighborhood party, how do I get in contact? Do you just stay there within the Winder area? Do you go out? How does it work?
Now, we service generally about a 100-mile radius. Like I say, this was at Lake Hartwell. This is about 50 miles north of us. We've got 20-plus vans, and so we can accumulate up, several there. And while we attend their parties, our techs, and I've attended some of them, we tend to kind of blend in and be part of the party with giveaways and, things with kids. And it just make a fun event to complement these neighborhoods to do that. And rather than taking time out of their busy schedules to get their car serviced, to take their time away from their family time, we kind of blend in with their family time and have fun with them. So, we've got set up to do that, and we suggest you reach out to us. And if you're far away, you could probably reach out to some of your closer Ford dealers that may participate in that. But yeah, we do about a 100-mile radius pretty consistently every day.
Wonderful. Brad, before I have to let you go, how can people get in contact with you? And are there any other events upcoming that people can mark their calendars for?
Well, we've got a lot of events at schools. One of our events is up in the Lake Hartwell area on the north side up there near Seneca. We're at AkinsFord.com. You can go right there and click on our mobile and send us any interest or anything that you may have that we can book through that. You can call us at 770-867-9136. But the AkinsFord.com and click on mobile will get everything to us. On that, we'd love to participate in a lot of other events throughout this Northeast Georgia area.
Brad, wonderful. Thanks so much for being a part of your community, sharing your story with us and joining the conversation. We really appreciate it. And best of luck as you continue to go to these mobile parties. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you. Maybe you'll have to be there with us one day. So
maybe one
you have
day.
A great afternoon, and thanks for having us here with us.
Awesome. Bye, Brad. Okay, guys, we're going to move on because I want to get you out to a really cool story with Eli Jordan. If you're looking for something to do, it's the SEC championship game. A lot of fans in town. They're going to be headed to the College Football Hall of Fame. Well, they have expanded their hours, I understand, Eli, and maybe added some new exhibits for all these fans that are going to come into town.
Yeah, I mean, hey, Ariel, they've been around, the College Football Hall of Fame has been around since 2014. And, Georgia fans have been here a whole lot, 13 times to the SEC championship game. Alabama fans have been here a whole lot, 16 times. And so the College Football Hall of Fame has to keep it fresh, and that's why they keep expanding their exhibits and, adding new technology and things like AI. You can come in here and enter your information, and they'll take your picture. And I'll tell you what, they have a card like this, and you can come up and scan it, and it knows I'm a Bama fan, and it thinks I look like that.
I
And,
thought that
it
looked
says,
like you.
I wake up every day, and I do my little ritual and all that stuff.
Oh
and,
my goodness.
It's really neat, and you can go on and on and on down through here and all. And so it's super cool to do, and it does really personalize it. And apparently, on down the way a little bit, I was the coach that never was for Alabama, and I retired in 1975.
Wow.
So I have video for it and all that good stuff. You sit there watch it. It's pretty cool. But I am joined with Yoman Brown. He is the Director of Communications here at the Hall of Fame. Yoman, how you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful. Thanks for having me.
How you guys feeling with the upcoming weekend?
We are feeling ready to engage with the fans, not only this weekend, but a few weekends with championship season right upon us.
And tell me about the hours. I mean, you guys are kind of catering to the events, right?
We are. Our typical hours are 10 to 5, but because of the SEC championship, we're going to open up an hour early and have the best tailgate party that we can have.
And what would you tell? What would you tell people to do if they want to come down here and check it out? Should they get here early? I mean, it seems like it's pretty crowded earlier today.
It's usually a line outside the door, so get in line early, purchase your tickets online, and when you come in, we have something for everybody. We are a 100% immersive experience throughout the College Football Hall of Fame.
And just tell me, how has that evolved over the years? You guys opened up in 2014, and now here we are 11 years later.
We opened up in 2014 here in Atlanta, and what we have done is created personalization and taken that to the next level. So when you give us your college of choice, what we do is we cater our entire experience to you, whether it's you singing your school's fight song, lighting up a helmet, or just finding out how many times your team has won the national championship. We make it each experience personalized.
And you guys have every college football helmet up there on that wall, don't you?
That is a wow factor. That is a 3-story helmet wall, and it represents any college program throughout the country.
That is impressive. I mean, this is the heart. This is the the heart and soul of college football right here in Atlanta, right?
Right here in Atlanta. It is a one-of-one attraction. We are the only College Football Hall of Fame.
And also, too, I mean, whether or not an SEC team is in the mix or not, I mean, the national championship path goes through Atlanta again this year, right?
It does. We will be here through the Peach Bowl, semifinal, and everything. We are the capital of college football.
Awesome, awesome. And so, Ariel, I know you're not a big, huge college football fan, but still, this is a neat experience to come down here and just check it out. Maybe, learn a little bit about the sport.
I love
just
it.
See how crazy the fandom is. And, there's a lot of good history here and pageantry and tradition.
Yes.
And just, fanaticism. So it's a great place. If you want to come down here, check it out. If you love your team, if you're a Bama fan, Georgia fan, you might have been here a lot more, but they've changed over, they've evolved.
Thanks,
and,
Eli.
Just as like, SEC Superdome, and then now we're at the Mercedes-Benz. So come on out, check it out, extended hours.
Eli, I can't say I wish the best for your team Saturday. I'm sorry, it's just not in me. But I do hope you have a nice time. And with that,
it'll be a great time.
With that, we're going to move on from Eli and his love for Alabama football. And I'm going to tell you guys coming up next, we're going to check in with our Chris Rosenthal, who's letting us know how we can avoid holiday pests. That's coming up next. Well, welcome back. I'm Ariel Onstad. Thanks so much for streaming along with us. And you guys, if you notice a little extra pests around your homes during the holidays, you're not alone. This is a cooler time of year where a lot of mice and insects try to find warmth. It's also a time where you have a lot more food around your house. So Chris Rosenthal went to talk to some exterminators about how we can prevent these sorts of problems.
Of course, with the holidays, that means having family and friends over. And of course, with family and friends, you also bring food. And food, well, you also sometimes get pests. So that's why I've got a pest control expert with Arrow Exterminator who's going to walk me through this kitchen and some problem areas that you may have. And this is Vanessa with Arrow Exterminators. Hi, Vanessa.
Hey, Chris.
And, you know, tell me first of all, this is an easy thing we can do right here. Just these traps and inspection points.
Yeah, a staple in the industry, if you will, for just your general pest control. We're talking about monitoring, Chris, and really a lot of the times you can narrow down the entry points they're using. These are our monitoring boards, commonly known as glue boards or glue traps, right? So this is how they start out. Some of them even have a pheromone. These don't. Pheromone to attract them. They kind of smell like peanut butter, though. You fold these over, you peel it off, you set it out. We fold them like this to prevent anything bigger than an insect from getting caught in it. They're non-toxic if somebody does get some glue on them or your pet maybe gets into it. Just a little mineral oil or vegetable oil will separate the glue safely. But these are great for monitoring pests year-round.
And where would you put these?
Yeah, this one immediately I go to under the sink. So that's one of our major entry points in our homes is pipes, access points, and things like that. So see about the glue? Having these set out in there is a great idea just in general to monitor that major entry point that we're aware of for insect activity.
This is a hot area right here.
Well, it's not the specific area, but you're absolutely right. It's where we feed our pets, where our pets' food and water dishes are kept. I love to see that this food bowl is empty. We want to discard any uneaten dry food before you go to bed at night or put it back in its airtight sealed container. You know, the bags that we get our pet food in, they are not insect or rodent proof. They can get in, especially rodents. They are known for their excellent sense of smell. They cannot see very well, but their sense of smell is better than dogs. That's how great their sense of smell is.
Food for your dogs and cats is food for rodents too.
Yes, that's right. And if you ever see any chewing or any gnawing activity on your cat's or dog's food, you want to call your pest professional right away.
And this area right here is an area where
yes,
can be for sure.
Yes, so sometimes I'll get calls about small brown beetles in my pantry. As soon as I hear pantry, I immediately think pantry pests. A common one too is the Indian meal moth, if you will. They feed off of grains, rice, dried fruit, all of these things. So you want to, every 3 months or so, Chris, just go through your entire pantry. First of all, discard anything that's expired. Take a look at the items and examine them. If you see anything that doesn't belong or it's alive and it's crawling, it's probably time to call your pest professional. Take photographs if you can to help us identify, again, the type of pest that it is. Obviously, you're going to want to discard anything that you find live bugs, and you're going to want to put it in a bag, like a garbage bag or a grocery bag. Seal it. Most importantly, take it to your outside garbage can. Don't throw it away on the inside garbage can because they can get out, reinfest, and things like that. These Cheez-Its here, they don't last very long in my household. Maybe you've got the party size bag. Maybe they last a little longer. Maybe they're there for the weekend treat. Here's the point I'm getting at. If they're only going to be there 48 hours, storing it like every person does, just wrapping it back, folding it over is fine. Anything beyond 48 hours, though, Chris, you're going to want to transition that from its original container into an airtight container like these, or like this spaghetti that's down here. These containers here, sealed. It's see-through too, so you can still do your general examination, right? Because here's the original spaghetti container. Yeah, it has the 2 little windows so you can see, but really, there could be pests in there and you wouldn't know. Here, not a lot of places to hide. You can shake it, move it around, and look for those guys in there.
Awesome. It probably keeps it a little fresher too, maybe.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We have the upstairs here, so they love cereal. love cereal, love sugar, love flour. Flour is a big one. So these airtight containers right here are not just for keeping it fresh, not just for aesthetics, not just for being organized, but it's really a form of IPM, integrated pest management, or just pest control. Most of the time, your pantry pests, they are going to come in through food that you've purchased and brought in, so you always want to check it when you grocery shop. But look, this is how most of your pests get in your house. From the outside. So you may look at this door, Chris, and not see an obvious entry point, but right here you can see where light is getting in. And something we talked about, Chris, was if light can get in, insects can get in. Even a small 5/8 of an inch gap, a rodent could get through. You know, their bones are made of cartilage. They can squeeze through. As my manager, Jeff, likes to say, if their nose can get through, they can get through too. You know, just a general pest control service is going to be a great way to not only prevent them from getting in, but obviously check your weather stripping. Get a good inspection done to identify these entry points and seal it and correct it wherever possible.
And with all those tips in mind, hope you guys have a pest-free holiday. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Chris. We really appreciate the update and letting us know how to have some tips for a pest-free holiday. Coming up, you guys, we're going to have some news headlines coming your way. We're going to chat with Tom Haynes as we get ready for our 3 o'clock hour. Welcome back in, you guys. I'm Ariel Onstad here with Tom Haynes. And as we get ready to head into our 3 o'clock hour, I know we're tracking some big stories.
Yeah, we got a lot of news still to come here, Ariel. Coming up, breaking news right off the top at 3 o'clock. An officer-involved shooting in Sandy Springs that we're following. Just saw Kevin Stewart, our reporter, fire up seconds ago. We're going to get to him live coming up. We got big news on the World Cup and a live guest this afternoon, an organizer behind the World Cup, going to talk to us about a big event in Buckhead tomorrow. You know, there's something called a final draw. I don't know a lot about it, but there's a lot of teams playing in the World Cup. As you know, Atlanta is a host city. So we're going to talk to them more about this watch party happening at Fayette in Buckhead tomorrow, how you can be involved involved and what this final draw is all about. Finally, I know you have one. An ugly sweater in your closet. Come on.
Yeah. I heard Lauren Robinson is not a huge fan of the ugly sweater because she says she doesn't put anything ugly on.
Well,
but she's going to be surrounded here coming up at 5 and 6 with those guys.
She's up in Marietta. We're going to check in with Lauren. There's a big tree lighting happening up there, and it's like wear your ugly sweater night.
Yeah,
to the tree lighting ceremony up in Marietta. So all that is still to come.
Tom, I'd love to get a look outside real quick so we can kind of see as our weather moves in. One of the things I know we're going to be tracking is overnight rain, and so we'll take a look at that.
Yeah, we got one day of sunshine yesterday on Wednesday, a little break from the rain, but guess what? It is moving back in as we start the 3 o'clock hour with you here on Fox Local. Just want to say thanks so much for joining us on our streaming platform or on YouTube, or if you're watching us on one of the fast channels, we certainly are glad you're with us today. Want to get to that breaking news right off the top in Sandy Springs this afternoon. That officer-involved shooting, the GBI, is now involved in this situation. There's been a large police presence there all day. Want to get out to Kevin Stewart, who's on top of the very latest for us. Kevin, what more do we know about what happened here?
Well, let's get back to the scene right here. This kind of picture says a whole lot right here. This is Dunwoody Place right here at Sandy Springs Police in the road, Dunwoody Place. If you take a look where those two SUVs are by the Bank of America, that's where we believe the confrontation took place. That's where we believe the Sandy Springs police officer shot a man right in that area. They said earlier that they thought it may have happened at the Bank of America. That's not the case. They were calibrated and told us that's where we believe it happened, on the sidewalk. This happened around 10:30 this morning. We understand that there was some type of assault call that came into Sandy Springs Police sometime around 10:30 this morning, a man and a woman. When the woman called 911, police showed up. That's when it seemed like everything was about to die down. They said that the man had broken away. Everything seemed to calm down. They were talking to the man, and then all of a sudden they say he pulled out a weapon, and that's when Sandy Springs Police shot. Take a listen.
The GBI have shown up, and they're going to take over the investigation involving the officer-involved shooting. The Sandy Springs detectives will continue to work the original assault call that came out. Cameras will be used from businesses, from the traffic management office with the city, from whatever assets are out there. We'll use all evidence available to be able to conduct a thorough investigation.
And we have watched investigators go to a number of businesses in this area. Like I said, you've got the Bank of America, which appears to be closed right now. You've got a Citgo gas station that the police have begun to pull the crime scene tape away from. You've got a barber shop. In fact, I had a chance to talk to some barbers there who said they didn't see the assault or hear the assault, but they did hear two shots. And when the officer fired at the man, we understand he has been taken to the hospital. No word on his condition, but they say that it was quite alarming, and they said that they came out and tried to make sure that police rendered aid to the man, which they did, and rushed him off to the hospital. They said they don't know the man personally, but they see him walking this area quite often. I asked him, you know, does he live in the area? And they said, well, he appeared possibly to be homeless. They don't know that for a fact, but his appearance, and they just see him walking the street along the way. Police said they don't know the relationship between the man and the woman, and talking to those barbers really gave us some more context, because when you hear an assault type of incident involving a man and a woman, you might think it might be some type of a domestic incident, but based on what the barbers are saying, it might not be the case, but that is something that investigators have to sort out. Tom?
Yeah, and the location where you're standing, I liked you pointing out what's around you, Kevin, because you're just south of the Chattahoochee River, just west of Georgia 400, not far from the Perimeter and Perimeter Mall in that area. That road's been shut down since this all unfolded. Any idea when things are going to kind of clear out and this investigation will reach its conclusion?
I'm going to guess we're getting somewhat close because just before you came to us, they began pulling down the crime scene tape, which had been wrapped around the Citgo gas station across here on Dunwoody Place. And so I'm thinking that if you look right behind the camera is actually Roswell Road. That area is still blocked off. And so I'm going to assume on the top end of Dunwoody Place in the other direction, that area is shut down. But because they are beginning to wrap this thing up, I'm going to say that probably by the time we talk to you again at 5 o'clock, Dunwoody Place should be open back up again.
Yeah, it's a busy area, especially right there near Roswell Road. Just glad no officers were injured. Kevin, thanks for the latest live there from the scene up in the Dunwoody Sandy Springs area, an officer-involved shooting, which our Kevin Stewart is on top of. He'll have the very latest coming up on Fox 5 News at 5. We're also following a big story, a situation from the Fulton County Jail. Seems there's always something going on there. This time we're getting reports of an inmate who was stabbed last month, taken to Grady Memorial Hospital. And our Angelique Proctor, who's so familiar with that jail and all the happenings inside. Angelique, you were going to attempt to talk to the family of that stabbing victim. What have you learned this afternoon?
Well, good afternoon to you, Tom. We have, in fact, talked to this family. The family is extremely concerned about the safety of their loved one, a loved one who they say was stabbed 4 to 5 times here at the Fulton County Jail. They say that stabbing happened on November the 15th, and like you said, he was rushed to Grady Hospital, treated there, and is now back here at the Fulton County Jail. We actually had an opportunity to speak to him directly by phone this afternoon from his family member's apartment, and he was explaining to us how this all happened. He said he was trying to watch a candlelight vigil for a loved one. They apparently have monitors inside the jail, and they give them access to the internet. So he went because the candlelight vigil was at a specific time and was trying to watch that, when he says that 2 inmates came out of nowhere and started attacking him, and he described that attack to us. Take a listen.
I'm just trying to watch my brother candlelight vigil on the Instagram through somebody else's page because I ain't got no Instagram. And it started from there, like right then and there. Like one guy pushed me on the table and the other guy just started stabbing me out of nowhere like 4 or 5 times in the head.
Now, we are trying to determine just how many stabbings occur here at the Fulton County Jail, particularly this year. The exact number is not yet known, but we do know that the Department of Justice published a report in November of 2024 that said there were just over 300 stabbings at the jail in 2023. That report came out in 2024. Now, homemade shanks seem to be the weapon of choice, something that inmates are able to make, homemade type devices that they use the walls and the infrastructure of the jail in order to create these weapons. We talked with this inmate about the weapon that he saw in his attack.
I was just over the rag on my head, trying to get, like, when you stop the just press down on the bleeding and stuff. Just some little makeshift knife type, like they hadn't been made, but like I don't know what it was. Something like kind of came off a light.
Now, fortunately, in this case, the Sheriff's Department investigated, and they actually charged not 1 but 2 inmates with this particular stabbing. So that is good news that someone will be held accountable. And of course, overcrowding continues to be a problem here. This jail was built for about 1,100 inmates, and last time I checked, there was between 2,000 and 3,000, so a lot more people than space. And of course, as you know, Fulton County has made a decision to create a new jail. They plan to renovate this one and create one, a facility for mental health inmates, but all of that is not happening until about 5 years from now. And so until that time, families like the one that we talked to today, inmates, still very concerned concerned and focused on safety.
It's a dangerous place. I mean, no doubt about it. So much happens in that jail. It's a real thorn in the side of the Fulton County Sheriff Patrick Labatt, as you know, Angelique. There have been, campaigns to just demolish the jail, start from scratch, but that got brushed off to the side. As you said, they've gone down the road of renovation, but there always seems to be safety issues emerging from this jail, some we don't learn about till weeks and months later.
Exactly, and Sheriff Patrick Labatt said all along he wanted a new facility. He feels like this jail is just too old, but the Fulton County commissioners did not agree with him. They thought that the cost was cost prohibitive to create a new facility, so what they have decided to do is renovate what they have, but it's just going to be a lot of shuffling over the next 5 years until that newer facility can get up, and no doubt, unfortunately, there might be other safety concerns like the one that we are talking about today.
All right, Angelique Proctor with some great audio there from an inmate. Angelique, thanks so much. Turning now to some national stories that we're following. I want to talk about the FBI arresting a man that they believe placed some sort of pipe bomb device in Washington, D.C. This happened, according to authorities, just before the January 6 riots broke out at the U.S. Capitol. That surveillance video that we've been given, previously released by the FBI, showing that person skulking around the Capitol the night before former President Joe Biden's election victory, was to be certified by Congress. The bombs were placed outside Democratic and Republican headquarters. The FBI finally getting a break in the case after a nearly 5-year manhunt. This video coming in extremely helpful. Nobody was hurt, but officials say the devices could have been deadly. The U.S. Transportation Secretary Scott Duffy is kicking off the FIFA 2026 World Cup Summit. At a press conference today, the Transportation Secretary spoke about the massive undertaking that's going to happen, that his department is making sure that the fans are going to be able to travel to the events safely and efficiently, whether it's by plane, train, or automobile. The former professional soccer player Kobe Jones, who is taking part in the summit, said that this is going to be the first World Cup featuring 49 teams with 3 host countries, of course, the U.S., Canada, and Mexico being part of that, and Atlanta even being part of that huge effort. 11 U.S. cities, including us, are going to partake in this. Also Boston, Dallas, Houston, Kansas City, L.A., Miami, New York, New Jersey, Philly, and the San Francisco Bay Area. This is all going to happen in June, but there's going to be a lot of lead up to what happened. Listen to the Transportation Secretary at this summit this afternoon.
Welcome to DOT. Thank you all for coming. Listen, we are excited. Tomorrow is going to be a great day at the Kennedy Center. President Trump is going to be there. Thousands of people are going to be in attendance. But around the world, 1 billion people are going to tune in to watch the draw at the Kennedy Center. So we're excited that we're kicking the event off today here at DOT. We're excited about FIFA. The president is excited about FIFA because it's a great sporting event, but it's going to come to America on our 250th anniversary. And again, in America, we love sports. We love to celebrate our birthdays, so to combine those two things together is going to be absolutely fantastic. On top of that, at the White House, we're going to have the first ever UFC fight as well, so it's going to be a great celebration of America's 250th birthday. As we look to these games, right, we're going to have 6 million people that are going to come into the United States to watch these games. So I've talked with State, I've talked with Homeland. We've partnered together. The president has given this directive. If you're watching around the world, we're going to make travel seamless for you as you come into the country. We're going to make it as easy as possible so you can come in and enjoy the great World Cup event that's going to go off. Some people have wondered, well, we're here at DOT. Why are we at DOT? What do you have to do with FIFA and the World Cup and soccer? I don't want to overstate it, but I think we may be more important than the coaches, the refs, maybe the players, I'm not sure. We have a big role in making sure that this event goes off really well. And so I just want to talk about that a little bit, because people move throughout the country during the World Cup on planes, trains, and automobiles. And so first, we have the FAA. The FAA knows we're going to have a lot of international travel that comes into the country, and then as people get to the U.S., a lot of people are going to travel by airplane between the host cities. We are clearing the skies, clearing the decks, making sure air travel is going to be seamless. The FAA is already working on that. The one thing we can't control is the weather, so if we have weather issues that pop up, I don't have any control on that, but the FAA is working to make sure air travel goes incredibly well. Rail. We're prepping our tracks, making sure we have enough cars as fans go between host cities, making sure that our rail runs on time, our rail is safe. All that work is happening right now as we prep for a massive number of fans coming into the country. Motor carriers, incredibly important as people travel between host cities on buses, making sure we have buses that are safe, making sure we have drivers that are vetted. But almost more important than that, as our fans go to the games, we need to make sure that we have enough beer and hot dogs. And it's our motor carriers that make sure that we are well stocked with all of the accoutrements for an enjoyable game. They also bring in all of the equipment that allows our networks to broadcast this event worldwide. And so that's the role that motor carriers play.
It's Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy talking about transportation and the 2026 World Cup. Coming up here in just a couple of minutes, our live guest, one of the coordinators, as Atlanta, as you know, is one of the host cities. We're going to talk about a huge event taking place in Buckhead tomorrow, a watch party of sorts, as they work through some of the World Cup picks. We're going to talk to, again, somebody who's in the know coming up here in just a couple of minutes, so you want to stick with us. Effective immediately, turning to immigration matters now. Immigration processing, including green cards, things like permanent residency, U.S. citizenship applications, even ceremonies for those who passed the citizenship test, are going to all be put on hold for 19 what the administration is calling high-risk countries. These countries already subject to a travel ban, so they're already in the spotlight. Countries like Afghanistan and Somalia, Cuba, Iran, Venezuela, that's been in the headlines lately, among those that are on the list. It's the latest move in the White House's immigration crackdowns and follows the deadly shooting of 2 National Guard soldiers by an Afghan national living in the United States. That happened right near the White House, which you are looking at live right now. There are also reports the White House is planning to expand this from 19 countries to at least 30. So we'll keep an eye on that situation. The Pentagon is in the focus, specifically the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, facing new calls to resign this afternoon. That comes amid a watchdog report criticizing his role in a leaked group chat with administration officials earlier this year. You remember when that came out? It revealed sensitive information between Hegseth and members of the cabinet. After a months-long investigation, the Pentagon Inspector General says that Secretary Pete Hegseth's use of Signal group chat, quote, could have resulted in failed U.S. mission objectives and potential harm to U.S. pilots. So Hegseth in the headlines, not only for that, but the shooting of that alleged drug boat in the Caribbean After it was shot, another round went into that boat and allegedly took out a couple of survivors who were hanging on to the wreckage. So we'll stay on top of those stories as well. Want to take a live look outside right now up in Sandy Springs at the King and Queen building on this yet another cloudy day outside. What is the weather going to do for the remainder of the week? We got one more day left, and then, of course, the weekend coming up. We're going to check in with our meteorologist as we continue here. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks so much for streaming with us here on Fox Local on this Thursday afternoon. I'm Tom Haines with you, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom, covering a lot of ground today. Want to take another live look outside where the weather is just kind of gloomy and chilly out there today as we take a live look at the King and Queen building, 285 in the foreground up in the Dunwoody Sandy Springs area. Got a brief reprieve from the rain yesterday. Saw a little bit of sunshine, too. But all of that is going to change. Want to check in with meteorologist Jonathan Stacy about the rest of the work week and into the weekend. Jonathan?
A chilly rain is coming to take over North Georgia and the Atlanta metro area, and it all starts today. We'll continue through the remainder of the week. Meanwhile, up to the north, they're dealing with snow, but no wintry weather for us. Just a wet experience here as the rain chances will skyrocket as the sun goes down. You haven't seen much sunshine today. You shouldn't expect to see any for the next couple of days. Rain will rule, and in between the rain showers will be some thick and low-hanging clouds. A softening of the showers in terms of coverage as we get into the second half of the day Friday. So there will be some drier periods, but at no point in time are you completely out of the woods in terms of the chance for rain. We'll carry those rain chances over into the weekend where we're expecting scattered showers, potentially some widespread activity as we go throughout the day Saturday, and then by Sunday I think most of us are just participating in what will be more of an isolated event. Rain chances still in the forecast even until Monday next week. So let's work through the timing here. It's now 6 o'clock Thursday evening. Your evening commute should be okay. There will be some splotches here and or there, but by and large, dry conditions and cloudy conditions will persist. In terms of temperatures, they've been in the 40s all day long, and that's where they're going to stay. 47 degrees. Temperatures will back off a bit, maybe dropping down into the high 30s, especially in our northern zones, but by and large, they stay steady right on through the overnight hours, and big time rain moves in. There will be some moderate to heavy pockets moving through overnight. By the time you wake Friday Saturday morning, there will be ongoing showers, a shield of moisture mainly to the south of the Atlanta metro area, with some isolated showers up across the foothills and the mountains. As we get into the lunch period, you can see here the clouds are still in place, but rain, well, it's kind of hard to find. Once again, there's some splotches here or there, mainly for the south side, as that's the general storm track that these storms will take over the next couple of days. These are fairly benign storms. We're not looking at anything severe, but there could be some areas of isolated flooding, especially if one of these slow down and they pump out a decent amount of rain over a short period of time. As we head to bed Friday night going into Saturday morning, another lobe of moisture, it's nocturnal rain, folks, moves through the area, and it stays mainly tucked to the south and to the east of I-85. Temperatures overall over the next 72-hour period, they don't move at all. The train continues right on through the day Saturday into Saturday afternoon. If you're up across northwest Georgia, your chance for rain is lower. Therefore, your rainfall expectations are only coming in at somewhere less than a quarter of an inch. That's from Rome to Canton to Ellijay, even up into Blairsville. However, if you're to the south and to the east of the city, you could get up to an inch of rainfall, maybe some isolated pockets getting 1 to 2 inches, but now the models are backing off a bit, becoming a bit more conservative, saying that you all will be somewhere in excess of a ½ inch, but likely not exceeding an inch of rainfall by the time we get to Sunday midday. Here's a look at your Fox 5 Storm Team 7-day forecast here. There is a lot to see, but nothing to get excited about. Temperatures staking out in the 40s through the remainder of today, the overnight hours, into tomorrow, into Saturday and Sunday. We have the hope of getting beyond the 50-degree mark Monday, but then a front moves through. The temperatures take another stumble and tumble. We're back into the 30s and 40s for Tuesday, but it looks like it will be with some much needed and long awaited sunshine.
All right, we'll take sunshine where we can get it. Jonathan, thanks. You know, we talked about the World Cup earlier and that Atlanta is going to be one of the host cities coming up in June 2026. Joining us now is Georgia O'Donoghue from the Atlanta Host Committee. First off, Georgia, thanks for being with us this afternoon. Tell us how important it is that our city is one of the host cities coming up for the World Cup.
We're so excited. I have to tell you, tomorrow's when it all gets very real. We've done a lot of planning to date. We have 8 matches here in Atlanta. We have a semifinal, the second semifinal, so it's the one that decides the final. The entire world will be watching us for that duration, and we have a lot to show, so we're excited about it.
There's a big watch party coming up in Buckhead tomorrow. Tell me a little bit more about what that is, how I can get there, how I can go to it. What's it all about?
Absolutely. Tomorrow is the beginning. So tomorrow is a watch party for the FIFA final draw. We're hosting it in Buckhead, on Buckhead Avenue, right outside of Fayette Irish Pub. We are shutting down the street. Anybody and everybody is welcome. Yes, I saw the same rain forecast that you did, but like we saw, it's going to move out around 11 a.m., but we're ready no matter what. The show will start at noon, but doors open at 11. We have tents, we have heaters, we've got food, we've got giveaways. The event's going to be hosted by 92.9's Mike Conti, as well as Brad Guzan, who you all know is U.S. men's national team and Atlanta United legend goalkeeper. We're going to have a lot of fun. We've got a lot of giveaways. We've got a lot going on. You can get there. However, if you want to drive, please use one of the decks in the Buckhead Village. If you're taking an Uber, we do have a code on our Instagram, save you $10. And we'd love to see everybody out there to really commemorate this big moment for Atlanta. This is when the World Cup gets real.
Yeah, it's the big kickoff party. But what is, for people who aren't that familiar with soccer, but want to partake in the festivities, what is the final draw? Can you tell us a little bit about what that even means?
Absolutely. So here's what we learn tomorrow. Tomorrow they take the 48 teams that have qualified for the World Cup and they put them into groups. We know that at Atlanta Stadium in the summer of 2026, next year, we have groups A, C, H, and K. So tomorrow we learn which teams are in those groups, which might be coming to play in Atlanta. On Saturday at noon, FIFA's hosting another live event where they will actually tell us which teams are playing which other teams at what time in Mercedes-Benz Stadium. So tomorrow is where we find out, what do these groups look like? What are these teams going to have to do to get out of their groups? Who do they have to play? And then on Saturday, we really learn, what does it mean for Atlanta?
Tell us what these games are going to look like next summer, specifically around that Mercedes-Benz area. If I can't go to the game, I'm almost certain that there's going to be a lot going on downtown.
Absolutely. There will be a lot going on, we hope, all over the city and all over the state. We have the Fan Festival in Centennial Olympic Park working with the Georgia World Congress Center. There will be activations there for at least 20 days throughout the 30 days that the event is going on in Atlanta from June 15th to July 15th. There is a bunch of activations going on in the downtown area in places like South Downtown and the World of Coca-Cola and the aquarium. Everybody is getting involved in this. And then when you look outside of just the downtown corridor, we have areas in Decatur, in Dunwoody, in Marietta, in all these places that have already raised their hand and said, we want to be a part of this. We're going to activate. And we've talked to people in Statesboro and people in Athens and Savannah, and this is going to be happening all over the state. So even if you're not going into Mercedes-Benz Stadium, there will be tons of ways that you can take in this historic event.
You know, Georgia, I don't know about you, but I was here in 1996 for the Centennial Olympic Games here in Georgia in the metro Atlanta area. And this feels eerily familiar to how our city prepared for that. I mean, there were infrastructure improvements, there were plans being laid, there were advanced events. Centennial Park, of course, lit up and became the center of gravity for the Centennial Games. Does it kind of ring familiar to you too?
It does. I think what's interesting about Atlanta is when we had the Olympics in 1996, we were a little bit of a different city. We weren't as on the map, and I think the Olympics really put us on the map, and we have grown in the last 30 years leaps and bounds. But what we've retained is this Southern hospitality, this when you come into Atlanta, you're a welcome guest in our home, and we have this vibrant, diverse population. We've got Michelin star restaurants, we've got art, we've got culture, we've got music, we've got sports. We really can do it all here. And so I think the drive from the Olympics to now, we've definitely grown up, but we still hold those core values that make us a really attractive place to visit and to stay.
All right, Georgia O'Donoghue, the Atlanta Host Committee, we so appreciate you being with us this afternoon. The big kickoff, as you said, tomorrow at Fayette, festivities starting at 11 a.m., correct?
Yep, see you there.
All right, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
As we continue, 'tis the season to get out your ugly sweaters. Okay, we're going to head up to Marietta. They're going to have a big tree lighting ceremony up there tonight, and they're encouraging you to wear your ugliest holiday sweater. Boy, is that going to be a sight when we come back. everybody. Welcome back to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. I'm Tom Haynes with you live. We appreciate you streaming with us, whether you're on your mobile device, you're at home watching us on TV, or on our YouTube or TikTok channels at Fox 5 Atlanta, or on the radio, 107.9 HD2 FM, wherever you are. We're just glad you're with us this afternoon. We provided a lot of news and information. It always happens live. I want to go live up to Marietta right now, where Fox 5 Storm Team meteorologist Lauren Robinson is standing by. Lauren, we know there's going to be a big tree lighting up there tonight. We're also being told that people are being encouraged to pull out their ugliest holiday sweaters and wear them up to the big event. I see you got lights, but no sweater.
I know, this is the closest I could come, Tom, to an ugly sweater, is ugly Christmas lights. But we're going to continue to be here through the rest of the evening, so you want to make sure that you stay tuned in this evening, or maybe even better, come on out. So right now I'm at Marietta Square, where we're here for the annual Christmas tree lighting celebration, and with it, there are going to be a couple of different events. Now, we do have performances that'll be starting on the stage behind me at 4 o'clock, and then after that, we're looking for the Ugly Sweater Christmas Parade. That'll be starting at 5 o'clock. Now, shortly after that, the big man himself, Santa Claus, is expected to arrive around 5:15, and then after that, we're going to have a Christmas tree lighting. That's going to be the grand finale there. That's going to happen at 6 o'clock. Now, what we're really hoping for is that we can manage to stay dry through the rest of the evening, as we do have some rain showers in the forecast. The good news for us here in Marietta is we're a bit further north of downtown Atlanta, so hopefully we can last just a little bit longer. We can get through all of the celebrations without any rain. But we do have a snowmaker, I see, that's right here. So you can actually start to see fake snow. Yes, fake snow, but falling on people. It's going to get all of the beautiful Christmas ambiance going here. So there's quite a bit going on in Marietta Square that, for sure, if you can, you want to try and get out. Again, performances start at 4 o'clock. The parade starts at 5. We're looking for Santa at 5:15. And then we'll have the Christmas tree lighting at 6 o'clock. So much planned here. The only thing I will say is, if you're coming out, you want to make sure you're bundled up, because it is cold out here, Tom. Right now, reporting from Marietta Square, I'm meteorologist Lauren Robinson.
Yeah, Lauren, and I love the snowmaking machine, because if you look up in the sky, it's so like steely gray and wintry, and then you got all the Christmas lights and decorations in that area. It really makes it feel like Christmas outside.
Yeah, it feels just like Christmas out here. Can't wait for Santa to get here.
All right, stay warm out there. Meteorologist Lauren Robinson up in Marietta for the big tree lighting and ugly sweater contest. Lauren, thanks. From Marietta to Buckhead, boy, this is the holiday block here on Fox Local, because when I head out to Chris Rosenthal, who's live for us in Buckhead, you got a tree lighting ceremony of your own going on up there, Chris.
Yeah, absolutely. Saturday at 7:30 here at Loudermilk Park in Buckhead. It's right across from the Buckhead Theater, for reference. In fact, that's the tree behind me. They've been working today to get the tree up. They just got it up, actually, and they're on a little break. And they got the next up. There'll be the lights. They got to get the lights up there, so they'll be working on that here shortly. But there are a lot of events going on in addition to that tree lighting, and before that tree lighting, there's some events as well. And I am joined by Charles Ritter. He is from Livable Buckhead. Let's walk around here and talk about what do we have coming up. What can people expect on Saturday?
We have a jammed up holiday programming for the next 2 weekends. So this Saturday we're going to kick off at the park from 12 to 2. We'll be doing some wreath making, which benefits the Atlanta Fire Rescue and Atlanta Police Departments. And then after that we have our first hot chocolate crawl, which will be between Buckhead Village District and the surrounding businesses. A really cool way to get people out in the community and experience the different restaurants and their offerings for the holiday.
And for that, the hot chocolate crawl, where should people go? Where do they need to be, and how do they get involved?
Yeah,
in
we're
that?
going to have 2 check-in locations. So here at Loudermilk Park, and then also at the Veranda in Buckhead Village District. So everything register online. It's free for your friends and family. And then we just ask that you check in, and then you can get a commemorative holiday mug for a $5 donation, and then you'll have all the different stops to tour.
That's a really great way to do this. It's free, like you said. Of course, $5 donation for a mug, and it's great for the family.
Yes, yes. What we said, family friendly, fun, and it's free. So can't beat that.
And of course, if you stick around, you're not locked in. You don't have to stick with it the whole time, but you can stick around for the tree lighting.
Yeah. So from 4 to 7, hot chocolate crawl. As you said, you can stop and go, and then at 7:30, we're kicking off the tree lighting. We'll also have some music opportunities from the Atlanta International School, and then the Dartmouth Decibels from Dartmouth College. So really exciting. And then the next weekend on December 13th, we'll have another hot chocolate crawl, except this one will be up at Phipps and Lenox as our check-in locations. They're kicking it off on the 13th with the Atlanta Opera, so they'll have some caroling going on. And then it crawls down Peachtree and Lenox on the 13th to end at Intercontinental Buckhead for the official after party.
Again, free, huh?
Free. Free. Most importantly, free. I think that this is the best time to, amongst all the expensive things that we go through, having something that we put on for the community where they're able to come out with their family and it doesn't add any cost, and it also helps give some exposure to the businesses, is a really rewarding experience.
And for the 13th, for that one, where do they show up at Lenox, show up at Phipps in the parking lot?
Lenox and Phipps will both have inside the malls. They will have check-in locations at Phipps and Lenox on the 13th.
Gotcha. Again, great for the family to come on out. And we were talking about this earlier. It's a good chance for people to kind of walk through Buckhead and get to know the neighborhood in a way that maybe they drive through all the time. But maybe
so I mean, all of this is under our Miracle on Peachtree programming. So we aggregate all of the community events going on. So different businesses, hotels, whatever's happening, they're uploading it to our page. So livablebuckhead.com/holiday. That's a place where you can go to explore beyond the hot chocolate crawls, what's happening in Buckhead for the holidays.
And more than just hot chocolate.
More than just hot chocolate.
You can get hot chocolate, of course. If you're an adult, you can get adult drinks too.
There will be llamas. Everyone loves llamas. So along with the tree lighting on this Saturday, the 6th, there will be llamas to accompany us.
Will the llamas actually be going from place to place?
If you're lucky.
Oh, well, llamas. Tom, you heard that? That sounds pretty cool.
Are the llamas the ones? They're not the ones that spit. Those are camels, right? Because nobody wants to get spit on when they go to the festivities in Buckhead.
I think llamas might spit too, but I think they probably got ones that are a little more
real quick.
Tame llamas.
Chris,
friendly.
that tree is spectacular, by the way, and lit up. It's going to be even more beautiful. So, if logistically I want to get down there, because Buckhead is a busy place, especially where Roswell and Peachtree meet up there. I'm to park over at Phipps Plaza. Am I clear on that?
Yeah, so our anchor Tom was asking, for the event, the one on the 13th, people can park at Phipps, park at Lenox in the main parking lot there, and that's, for people coming in, that's a great way. Or, of course, MARTA. And
very much so, MARTA, the Buck Shuttle. We will have a shuttle service between the 2 stops, or between the 2 weekends. We'll have a shuttle service, so if it's cold or you need some additional mobility assistance, there will be a shuttle service taking patrons around the different stops, so there will be different drop-off locations.
Gotcha. Cool. So, yeah, so a lot of easy transportation ways just to make it a little bit easier on you to
absolutely
come in the area and get around it.
All right, it's a great place to be. Buckhead is just such a beautiful intersection of so many huge avenues in our city, and it's all converging right there at the tree, which is going to be lit up and spectacular. And then you got what used to be that like German Christmas village across the street, but they're selling Christmas trees over there, I believe, right, Chris?
Yeah, it's Big John's Christmas trees there. Yeah, that's where they have the Christmas Kindle market, which is actually up in Lawrenceville now. But yeah, that's where they have that. So
all right, so a lot going on. Whole Foods across the street for if you want to grab a bite. I think the salty donut or the salty something is right there around the corner.
That's one of the stops actually. Yeah. So
okay, and absolutely. Then Buckhead Village, right across the street. So you got it all going on down there. For the festivities in Buckhead. Chris Rosenthal, live for us this afternoon. Chris, thanks. When we come back, you know the big game is happening this weekend. So the College Football Hall of Fame is not only all decked out, but it is ready to go as thousands and thousands of football fans converge on our city to watch Georgia and Alabama. Look at how pretty that looks. We're going to go there live to talk about what they're doing inside with Eli Jordan next. Welcome back to the 3 p.m. streaming hour here on Fox Local. We're having a lot of fun today. I'm Tom Haynes, live in the Fox 5 Atlanta newsroom. So glad you're streaming with us this afternoon on this Thursday afternoon. Kind of gloomy out there, and rain is in the forecast, going to move in tonight. So just be prepared for that. You know, this weekend is going to be a big weekend at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Georgia and Alabama facing off. So the College Football Hall of Fame is turning into the center of gravity in downtown. Tons of events happening down there. Eli Jordan joins us now live. Eli, we saw a little bit of a preview going into the last break. Tell us what's happening at the Hall of Fame and what they've done to kind of spruce things up ahead of the game.
Hey, Tom. Yeah, they are getting ready for a big weekend and then weekends after this weekend, because not only is the SEC championship game here in Atlanta, but there is the Celebration Bowl a week after, and then in early January there is the semifinal to the College Football National Championship played here at the Peach Bowl. So it's going to be a very busy month, but right now everybody's thinking about the SEC championship game between number 9 Alabama and number 3 Georgia, number 4, number 3. But anyways, they're both in the top 10 and they're both ready to play. And this is a fun spot. They're going to have earlier hours open on Saturday. They normally open up at 10, but they open up at 9, so you can come on down here and check it out. But, you know, Alabama fans and Georgia fans both have been to this championship a lot. 16 for Bama, 13 for Georgia. And so how do you keep it fresh? You know, a museum. You got to update it. And so they've gotten, you know, they've modernized over the years. They opened up in 2014. And so now, you know, they implemented some AI stuff, Tom. And check this out. So you can come in and you get a little card like this. You put your information on it. I'm going to scan it here. And that's me as a Alabama cheerleader. That's what AI thinks it is. But joining me is Yoman Brown. He is a communications director here at the museum. Yoman, tell me, how exciting is this weekend? I know you guys have done this year after year, but it's still, it doesn't get old, does it?
It never gets old, and every year brings new excitement. We are the capital of college football, and for the next 6 weeks, we will have meaningful games, starting with the SEC championship in town this weekend.
What can people expect this week? I mean, Alabama fans, Georgia fans have been up here a lot, and just tell me, how do you guys keep things fresh?
People can expect a one-on-one experience. We are the only college football Hall of Fame, and what we do, we have created an immersive experience that puts fans directly into the game that they love.
And I like how how it's personalized. Like these people are here finding out they were coach of their favorite team, and they have a little history of how things went for them. And also too, you just see the history and the beginnings of football here. And so tell me, you also have the Heisman Trophy. It's 90 years this year, correct?
This year will commemorate the 90th anniversary of the Heisman Trophy. So we have an exhibit that'll run 5 or 6 months highlighting every winner of this most coveted award outside of the national championship trophy in college football.
Started up in 1935. I think Georgia has a couple, and Alabama has, I think, twice as many, 4, and all that. So how long is that going to be up?
That will be up through February of 2026. So please come out and find yourself immersed in that experience.
So tell me, your hours this weekend and then the following weekends that are going to have the games?
Our hours are 10 to 5. However, we want the fans for the SEC championship to have a meaningful experience. So we'll open up at 9 a.m. through 5 p.m. on this Saturday.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Yoman Brown, thank you very much. Communication Director of the Hall of Fame here. And Tom, it's really cool. I've been walking through here a good bit. Seen myself as a Alabama cheerleader, as an Alabama coach, and as an Alabama fanatic.
Muy guapo, by the way.
Cool.
If you go back to that picture for a second, which means it looks nothing like you.
Which one
no,
was
just
it?
Kidding.
Oh, that picture? Oh, yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I like how they kind of take you and make you much better looking and fitter than you really are.
I know. Yeah, I think I look
at that. Look at that.
This thing.
Strapping young lad.
Yeah, I know.
I
know.
Just think, that's what could have been, okay? That's what could have been.
Yep, exactly. It's what could have been if I would have stayed in school, graduated college, and never became a photographer. You're a cheerleader.
You are our
Forrest Gump.
You're our MVP, which we appreciate very much.
Oh, real quick, I want to say something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Real quick. I know we're talking about the SEC championship game.
Yes, sir.
But also, though, on Fox at 8 o'clock Saturday night, we got number 1 against number 2. Indiana against Ohio State. That is only on Fox at 8 o'clock Saturday night. So after the SEC championship game, switch back to Fox 5 and watch number 1 against number 2 in their conference championship.
There's a lot of football to be played this weekend, not only at the collegiate level, but our Falcons as well. And you're not that far from Mercedes-Benz. You could basically walk from where you are over to the Benz, correct?
Yes, you could easily walk. You can walk from the Benz to here, then over, maybe check out Centennial Park, and then, you got the Georgia Congress Center, but I don't think there's anything going on there, but I don't know if there's a really good place to hang out, but yeah, there's all sorts of good walkable places here.
Also,
are pretty close.
What I love about the College Football Hall of Fame is it looks like if I'm not a diehard college football fan, there's still stuff for me to do, right?
Oh yeah, there's lots of stuff to do, and also too, you got the Chick-fil-A connected here, so you can grab some food, and there's fun stuff here to do, even if you're not a college football fan. It's an entertaining place.
Great tour, great information. Eli Jordan, always good stuff from you. Thanks so much. Talked about pro ball happening in addition to college football as we take a live look at Mercedes-Benz Stadium under the steely gray skies of our city. Still looking great. Falcons coming off a tough loss to the Jets on Sunday without their quarterback and wide receiver Drake London. Team hoping to turn things around against Seattle, joined by Kelly Price now. Kelly, what about that and our team kind of getting back on their feet? This was a very close loss to the Jets, by the way. Really disappointing one, too.
Yeah, the Falcons have obviously had a couple of those. If you're a Falcons fan and have been following that, you know that, and that's a painful truth. They're 1-5 in their last couple games, and 3 of those last 4 games, they held a fourth quarter lead, but ended up losing the game. So really tough kind of endings to games that they've been having. Everyone this week in Flowery Branch, Falcons-wise, talking about how, we really got to close out a game. We feel like we're the better team for most of the game, but we're not closing out the game. We're making kind of critical errors or just very small mistakes towards the end of the game that are ending up becoming big and costing them games.
Yeah, that feels really familiar with the Falcons, letting it go kind of at the last minute. Give us a preview against Seattle. It's a strong team. Going into that game, what do the Falcons need to do, and how do they position themselves to notch a victory?
Yeah, I mean, special teams is the biggest thing that people are going to be looking at after last week. There was a lot of glaring issues on that third phase of the ball last week, but Seattle's a really good team. You mentioned it. Yeah. They're tied atop the NFC West with the Rams, who are another really good team in the NFC. Sam Darnold, their quarterback, actually torched the Falcons last year when he was with the Vikings. Wow. So there's some bad kind of history there as well. But the Vikings, the Seahawks have also a really good defense as well, and that's something that's going to be a challenge for the Falcons, especially as they look to rush the ball with Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algier. That's going to be a really tough task. And like you mentioned, Drake London is someone they didn't have last week. He's questionable kind of for this week as well. So who is going to catch the ball from Kirk Cousins now and make an impact in the passing game as well is a big kind of question mark. On
Drake London, so it is kind of wait and see. He injured his knee. What is the latest from the Falcons as to whether he's going to take the field? I guess day by day, right? Yeah, he did not practice, I believe, yesterday. I don't know if we've had the practice report from today quite yet, but he's still day to day, as Raheem Morris said yesterday, which means they're not really sure what he's going to be this week. I don't think that's necessarily something they're counting on right now. I think a lot of the other receivers are going to try to step up, but they're also going to miss him in the run game. I talked to David Sills about that this week, one of the other wide receivers. He said, we really miss him in the run game, his blocking, his kind of dog mentality. But there's a lot of blame kind of going around, a lot of people outside of the organization blaming coaches, but inside the organization, I think a lot of players and coaches are saying, hey, we need to see players execute better. Raheem Morris talked about kind of the debate of coaching being a problem versus execution as players.
I love taking the bullets from my guys. I do. And that'll never change, right? It's like when a guy makes a mistake, what can I do better to help him? That's the way we look at it as coaches. That's the way they look at it as players. And that's completely fine. There is an accountability to all of us, and we all have that accountability in this game. We're entertainers, and our job is to go entertain. But at the same time, finger pointing and absolutely being honest with each other is two different things. And I always be honest, I'm never going to point fingers.
Yeah, maybe we just let it rest on each shot. So I think accountability kind of on all sides, right? Yeah. Coaching staff as well as the players. But Raheem Morris there saying, hey, I want to take bullets for guys when I can.
Real quick, a lot of football to watch. When can we expect the Falcons to take the field with Seattle?
They will be at 1 o'clock on Sunday on Fox 5.
All right, Kelly, thanks. And thank you for joining us here on Fox Local. The news continues, as it always does, right here, right now.
Fox 5 News at 4 starts right now.
Residents of an Atlanta condo complex filing a lawsuit claiming conditions are unlivable. We break down what they want to happen coming up. The family of a Fulton County inmate say they're concerned after their loved one was stabbed multiple times. We'll hear from them.